Yeah, look, I've been fighting for the Northern Panhandle for a long time now. It's time that I truly represent it. So I am getting in the Senate race, and I look forward to that fight because it's going to be Dave these days. And let's get to work and work on real issues for real people. I'm just tired of seeing these far just off their fringe agendas. And people that you talk to them, they talk about real issues, and they're all in the middle. They're not on this fringe. Mm-hmm. So we get quick governing from the fringe, and I look forward to that Senate race.
But people would say to you, with all due respect, many people would say, well, what is fringe to you is not fringe to me. And to that you would say?
I would say if you went out and talked to everyday West Virginians, they're not talking about the culture wars you're seeing in Charleston on a daily basis. They're not talking about the Bible bill we had or the porn ID bill and all this other crazy stuff that you see on a regular basis in the headlines. They're talking about issues that impact them, like being able to afford a living, being able to get their kids to school, being able to raise their family and be content to have a high quality of life. All things we're ignoring because we push fringe agendas for politicians and not for the people.
I want to ask you about HB 4080. It's been discussed that this would lead local communities to have partisan elections. Now, for those that may not know, every city is different. 232 cities in West Virginia, and there are different the city charters say different things. But in a lot of cities, those races, think city council, think mayor, are nonpartisan. There's a move on by some that they want to make those to be partisan. To that, you would say what?
Partisan politics has been poisoning not just our state, but the national scene for such a long time. Why do we want to infuse national partisan politics into our smallest communities and go against the will of the people who have decided they want their local communities to be represented in a nonpartisan way? This is big government on steroids coming from the same people who claim to be champions of smaller government and local control, and it eviscerates that. In my neck of the woods in the Northern Panhandle, the city of Wheeling has a nonpartisan election. Our mayor is nonpartisan, city council nonpartisan, and that's a decision that's been made by Wheeling, not Charleston. I'm tired of Charleston just running a vendetta against all these cities and municipalities when they didn't even ask for it.
Well, and I think there's something to be said for that because, as I said, in a former life, I used to cover a lot of city elections, and every city was different. Every charter has certain things, and when it comes to charter versus state code, unless it's a direct violation of law, charter wins out. And we used to, and in my former job, I used to have to explain to these people, well, what does your city charter say? Because right. You can have early voting a little bit differently. You can have all these different things. But the state that we are right now, Delegate, again, we're talking with Delegate Shawn Fluharty. I've used this example over and over again because everybody is so dug in, their heels are dug in the sand when it comes to the partisan identity, national politics. I change the county every time, so I'm not picking on a county. You cannot run for surveyor of Taylor County without somebody saying, do you support Trump or do you not support Trump or whatever? And I think from my standpoint, having a break from that in elections to me is not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to, okay, I don't have to worry about that. I just want the fire hydrants painted. I just want the pothole on Main Street taken care of, that sort of thing. That's kind of where I am. Well, look, I agree, and your local communities aren't voting on these national issues, so let's not infuse national politics into it. Furthermore, let's make the legislature nonpartisan, because I can tell you right now, a hell of a lot of my colleagues wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the party by their name. Let's be honest about that. We could bring it back to a thing called merit, which is what I grew up on, how we do things in the Northern Panhandle, and I would love to see that. And that's what the great thing about these local elections is that it's more about merit than it is about what party affiliation you have at the time. I am interested to know, would you think that same way, Delegate, if the Democrats were in charge as they were for 83 years? Absolutely. And I've criticized the 83 years that we've had. Like, if there's one thing about me, and you think you've known me for a few years, I call it like I see it. 100%. Nobody's going to disagree. You're going to disagree with my politics, but I call it like I see it. I've been vocal my entire time in Charleston, and I'll be just as critical as my own party if it merits it. But the last time I checked, we've had a decade of one-party rule, and now they're making a decision to try to just dominate even more. We've had a supermajority, not just a situation where there's one party that kind of has a little bit of a power. They have a supermajority. They can get anything done at any time. They could suspend the rules, suspend the Constitution, and pass whatever they want, whenever they want. But what are they choosing to do? Run culture war bills in a session that we've been told, Dave, was going to be about jobs, the economy,
things that you actually talk about at the kitchen table, but we're not talking about those in Charleston.
What's your take on the session been so far, first couple of weeks in?
Quiet, very quiet. On the House side, quiet. I think you're seeing, like you said, the culture war stuff coming out of the Senate. But it's not atypical. I think it's kind of how this works early on, and things get cranked up, and I expect it to really pick up pace probably starting next week. But it's been a relatively quiet session thus far. What do you think?
Are you guys done for the day today? Because I think it's been a quiet session
on
too.
The House side, yes.
All right, so you're heading back up to Wheeling to see if the snow has melted any?
I don't think it has. It's going to be a mess. We could talk about the weather if you want to really want to anger me.
We got about 20 or 30 seconds left. What's on your agenda for next week? Give us a highlight. Give us some previews of next week real quick.
Oh, interested to see if that bill comes back, the municipality bill and judiciary, 4080. I beat it up pretty well in committee, and they pulled it after that, and we'll see if that makes a return. And there's a couple other bills that were semi-controversial. They're running a lot of election law bills. I mean, things that aren't putting money in your bank account. So it's been quiet, but I think that's probably the main topic in judiciary is whether that comes back next week and what it looks like.
All right. Delegate Shawn Fluharty, be safe if you're heading back up that way, and stay warm. We'll talk again soon, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you. Take care.
All right. Delegate Shawn Fluharty, who wants to be senator. Shawn Fluharty. 12:50.